Hey everyone, I wanted to talk with you today about the gut and the microbiome in particular, and what we could do, or what we could consider anyway, when we're dealing with our low energy levels, maybe some of the other symptoms that some of us complain about, like joint pain, mood differences, maybe even some skin issues that could all be related to the gut. So when we think about the gut and the microbiome, we're talking about all of these microorganisms like bacteria, yeast, maybe parasites, microorganisms that are living mainly in our large intestine. And when you have a balance in your microbiome, then that is very supportive of your overall well-being. There are many ways that your microbiome could become dysbiotic or out of balance. And actually, it's hard for me to imagine a person who might be completely in balance considering the world we live in. So imbalances in the microbiome could be due to stress, could be due to a period maybe where you had infection, maybe you were taking antibiotics for a long time, maybe you were on birth control, perhaps there was a time in your life, or maybe even currently, where you're drinking a lot of alcohol. All of this can disrupt the normal gut bacteria, and it can promote overgrowth of potential harmful bacteria. Then consider that perhaps you went traveling and you got traveler's diarrhea or some sort of an infection there. You don't know if you picked up some microorganism that's not wanted that you could now be feeding, living in your gut. So there's possible that you have a lot of energy being sapped from you because you're feeding this microbiome that is more parasitic, right? That's actually not symbiotic and not supporting you. The thing that happens, though, is when you have this imbalance, is that it can create low-grade inflammation. And if you've seen other videos from me, or you've thought about it a little bit, that low-grade inflammation can cause fatigue. It's just like when you have a cold or another virus, your body is very busy fighting off that inflammation, and you don't have the energy then to put into other other system functioning in your body. So that low-grade fatigue can stay in your gut, that low-grade inflammation can stay in your gut, but that inflammation also can start to deteriorate the lining of your intestines, and it can make it more permeable. And that's when we get leaky gut. And leaky gut is now when the intestine, which was a very selective semi-permeable membrane that was going to allow good nutrients to pass into your bloodstream, now larger particles might be passing into your bloodstream. So now you have these particles in your bloodstream that shouldn't be there, and you're going to start to get something called a cytokine response. You're going to get an inflammatory response, and now you're getting systemic inflammation. With that systemic inflammation, that's when it can start manifesting with skin issues. It can start manifesting as joint pain, and actually those cytokines can get up into your brain, and it can cause a reaction through the HPA axis, which is your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. When that's stimulated, you can get a cortisol response. So now you are having this stress response to inflammation. High cortisol levels not managed over time can now cause more fatigue, And unfortunately, cortisol, when left unchecked, it's a hormone, and it can start affecting the hormone balance in your sex hormones and your thyroid. So you see how just the gut itself now can affect your mood, because also I didn't mention the gut-brain axis, so your vagus nerve will also start to respond, so you get more anxiety because of the disturbance in your gut. You have your HPA axis, so now your mood and your energy levels are affected, and you have all this inflammation. I mean, it's actually quite fascinating, but when you're living it, it's maybe not what you want to be experiencing. So the challenge is, like I said, we could almost assume that everyone's out of balance. And that's why things like probiotics are being sold, right? It's because a lot of people need that sort of support. But what you don't know after this story is what is specific to you. And that's where I would like to come in and try to help you, right? It's like, let's see if we can figure out exactly where this imbalance is happening, see if we can be a little bit more specific about the interventions and try to bring you back into balance. One of the expressions in functional medicine that is said often is start with the gut. Unless you have a good reason not to, let's start trying to fix the gut. Because if you can get your gut working well, maybe you're pulling back some of the distress that's happening, the oxidative stress that's happening, the inflammation that's happening all over. And you're starting to absorb actually the things that you should be absorbing because you're feeding yourself and the good microbiome that should be supporting your well-being. I know that was a lot, but I think it's super cool. I also think it's very exciting to think that we might be able to help heal ourselves. And again, if you're interested in learning more, please reach out to me and we could do a consult or we could sign you up for the program. See you soon. Bye.